Jacques nimmt es auf mit der aktuellen Nummer 29 der Welt. Mit ihm verbindet man vor allem noch den neuen Data aus dem Alley Pally 2012 bei der Weltmeisterschaft. Ladies and gentlemen, aus Down Under, the original K.Anderson.
And the original, the number 2 from Australia, taking on Peter Jacques, a man who's, well, what a few months he's had in PDC darts. Didn't pick up his tour card at Q School, basically just because he couldn't be bothered on the final day, even though it was there for the taking, and still went and made the final of the very first Players' Championship event of the year. He's now qualified for yet another European Tour. This is his 3rd outing on the European Tour, having appeared in Saarbrücken and at the European Darts Match Play, where he did win his opening round game. And he looks a very dangerous character, not a man to be taken lightly. K.Anderson, though, a quarter-finalist on the Euro Tour earlier this year. Still waiting to see Kyle get back to the kind of form he was showing before his, well, imposed absence.
First leg is Peter to throw first. Game on!
K.Anderson, of course, had those visa issues, which meant that he had a few months out of the game, missed the Players' Championship finals, missed the World Championship, and we're still yet to see him reach or hit the heights that perhaps he was hitting second half of last year before those visa issues. Maybe he can work his way back into form here today. I'm Dan Dawson, Paul Nicholson alongside me in time to see the original hit the 180 with the very first visit of the game.
Not a bad start, Kyle.
100.
Yeah, when you dissect the form of these guys, it's quite an intriguing match. Because there have been flashes over the last
134.
6 weeks from Kyle that say, yeah, all right, he's finding it again. But Peter is a thorn in people's side.
96.
I think it's probably the best way of putting it.
He's a solid player, is Peter Jacques. But what a leg of darts this is from K.Anderson. My word! Look at that, 171 leaves 88 for a 10-dart leg. Stunning start from K.Anderson. He's playing like he wants to get this done and get a flight home, which is probably what he wants to do. More of that in a moment. 88, 4. There it is, 11-dart leg on 4 for K.Anderson, who's off to an absolute flyer.
Well, it's very evident that K.Anderson has been sipping from the glass of brilliant darts juice. That is just a sensational start.
100.
That I would say.
How to start a match from K.Anderson. That would sell a few copies.
43.
Yeah, K.Anderson is... Look, he's a guy who's uprooted his entire life. Moved over to the UK to follow his dream of being a top PDC dart player.
85.
And his family are back home, and I know he really struggles with it. It's heartbreaking to hear him talk about it. But his wife and his kid have come over. They've come over to see him, and they've landed at the airport, and they're currently in his house in Nottingham, and he's not seen them yet because he's had to come over here. He forgot there was a Euro Tour on when they booked the flights. And K.Anderson is playing like a man possessed. He wants to win everything 6-0, get 25 grand on Sunday night, and then fly back home.
121.
Well, Kyle is the kind of player that thrives on inspiration, and there's no bigger inspiration for him than his family. So when you think about it, it makes sense. Because
60.
When it comes to his brother, his family, he just see it in his eyes. There's something about him where he just finds that extra 3%.
100
from that inspiration. Well, he's going to need it now.
160.
Because Peter Jacques has come to play as well. That 60 is to the left of that. Oh, it's right there, double 18.
It's majestic.
From the original, what a shot!
The legs
to break the Jacques' heart.
Fantastic opening leg from K.Anderson in the scoring. Flawless finish in the second. And Peter Jacques, well, he's averaging 100, but he can't know what's hit him here. K.Anderson storming out the blocks.
93.
We talk about a lot of players who get a lot of qualifying under their belt into these events, but there are certain players that just are a bit more exciting than others. And when Kyle's in full flow, he can hit a lot of trebles and a lot of finishes. All we've got to do is look at the Vienna tournament from last year against Van Gerwen. It was a game for the ages, and he showed people how to hit the bullseye that night.
He did, and he's showing everybody what he's capable of right now. Kyle Anderson a second maximum, only in leg 3 here. And Peter Jacques, he's not doing a lot wrong, but Kyle Anderson, he's flying. 95 leaves 167 for Peter Jacques. Getting the maths right. But Kyle Anderson, he doesn't need to worry about maths. He's scoring so heavily.
100.
Down to a finish after 9. And it's an easier finish than this 167. But it could still go, this. Needed the treble 19 for bullseye, and Kyle Anderson will come back looking at a 128. He's just taken out a 116. This is a little bit trickier.
139.
But he could need the bullseye.
128.
See if he gets the treble 18 first. We'll need the bull if he hits a 60. Not this time, Kyle.
56.
Little bit of a wry smile.
Required 28.
Jacques comes back for the Mensa.
Sliding alongside it. There it is. Peter Jacques does get a first leg on the ball.
Well, it's Kyle to throw first. Game on.
We've mentioned in the past, haven't we, about Kyle's little idiosyncrasy with holding the dart a bit more to the side. He told me after the game that we mentioned it in that it wasn't on purpose, it was just something that happened. And he's going with it now.
57.
Yeah, he does, as he sets up the sort of dart, instead of pointing straight at the board, his wrist is sort of angled slightly over to the left-hand side. It's almost as if it's pointing at our camera over here. But it seems to straighten up in the actual throwing action itself, and the darts don't appear to be twisting or going in at strange angles. So it doesn't seem to be causing... I think if it does progress any further and gets more pronounced, it could pose a problem for him. But right now, it doesn't appear to be doing so.
Not at all. And I think a lot of dart players out there use a certain part of their dart as a focal point to throw from, and it looks to me like he's looking at the very end of the point, and that's what he's throwing towards when it propels from his hand.
140.
Yeah, Peter Jacques really battled his way back into this game at the start after Kyle Anderson hit him with some brilliant in the opening couple of legs. I was very hopeful that it was going to be like that the whole way through and be a 6-5. Well,
because sometimes games like that just live with you for the rest of your life.
Well, there's still time for these guys to do some special things, but Kyle Anderson, if he can make the most of that poor visit from Peter Jacques, could re-establish that 2-leg advantage. And that is making the most of it.
When you're on 176, there's only one number in mind. 140.
Yeah.
140.
That's exactly what he's got to leave double 18, but will he get a poke at it? First leg of darts that's gone longer than 5 visits, this one. Ooh, 2 darts missed by Kyle Anderson, and Peter Jacques can level up here.
He'll be frustrated more than anything else, not taking this leg, having 2 darts to win it.
Game shot on the 4th leg.
Even more frustrated now that he's lost it.
Good leg is Peter to throw first. Game on.
But great games of darts, like we're seeing right now, sometimes have ebbs and flows, ups and downs. This one's like a yo-yo so far. Kyle Anderson was the one that was thundering down to start, and Peter Jacques has worked his way back up.
59.
Well, the weird thing about Peter Jacques, he's shown us. He's shown us at the start of this year he can play, as Anderson makes it a third 180. He is hitting a 180 against the Jacques throw in every single leg so far. He's won one of them, didn't manage to win the other one.
100.
But it is putting all kinds of pressure on the Yorkshireman's throw. Oh, this is even better. It's even better. Oh, how is that skewed away from the treble 20? Kyle Anderson, a man who's hit a 9-darter at the World Championship, of course. That is an exclusive club to be a member of.
I think that was a pretty well thrown dart. It was just a bad deflection because the 2 that were in were so perfect.
He couldn't have placed them better, could he?
He won't be bothered as long as he gets the leg, but even that is not secured right now. Peter Jacques chuntering away as he always does. Look at those lips. Constantly talking to himself.
60.
And he'll be gutted with a 60 there.
38.
Well, Anderson left with the Della. Not going the Della route.
It's It's more the Simon Whitlock type route.
Treble 20 though, that's the obvious dart.
58.
Could have gone better, but it should give him a dart for the leg. Oh, leave double one, man. Just leave double one. Leave double one, man.
162.
Just as good.
I require 80.
Right, Kyle, what do you got on this one? Needs a big treble. 13 on 19 now. Otherwise, he won't get a dart for this leg. Not going to get a dart.
64.
Full credit to Peter Jacques for putting the pressure on.
20.
This leg's here to be pings double 10.
Game shot on the fifth leg. Peter
Four
Jacques.
fantastic
Select
darts from
Kyle
Peter
throw
Jacques
first.
there when he was put
Game
under
on.
huge pressure by K.Anderson. And Jacques into the lead in this one, having been 2-0 down. He's won 2 of his
140.
3 legs on throw, despite Anderson throwing maximums in every single one of them. And this just underlines what a competitor Peter Jacques is.
100.
I know he's not a tour card. He's shown us he can play. And this is the weird thing that I was trying to say earlier before K.Anderson threatened to do a 9-darter. Peter Jacques, I mean, it's not as if he was tearing up the Challenge Tour last year. He was there and he was having a few runs here and there, quarterfinals and such.
100.
But, I mean, the only Challenge Tour title that he's won was this year, and that was after he'd already shown us what a player he was on the Pro Tour. K.Anderson averaging 103 here, and he is 3-2 down, having lost the last 3 legs to Peter Jacques.
It does make you think who else the Yorkshire County team have got.
Oh.
Because they all seem to
100.
come to the PDC
156.
with us knowing relatively nothing about them, and generally in later years. James Wilson.
To be fair, he was the BDO #1 when he came out.
96.
But yeah,
Admittedly, yes.
but there are hotbeds of darts all around the country where you do wonder, are there some like little gems hiding away there that maybe they could make the step up and
97.
play a serious part in the full
60.
tour? We were talking last weekend about the players in Scotland as Anderson looks at tops now for a level game at 3-all. We have got some game on here, 3-3.
Some-legged Peter to throw first. Game on.
Well, you can predict it all you like before the game starts. We're 6 legs in, and I still can't pick these two apart.
No.
Brilliant game so far.
140.
Yeah, really good. We've seen some big performances today. James Richardson, 101 average in the second game of the day, knocking out the former world champion Mark Webster. Solid stuff
55.
from John Henderson and Krzysztof Ratajski, both averaging in the mid to high 90s in their convincing victories this afternoon. It's been a bit more of a battle this evening for most of the winners.
108.
But that is a maximum from Peter Jacques, and it's not a battle. These two are in the groove.
I wonder how many times Peter Jacques says "come on" under his breath
50
in a match. It was twice in the last throw.
It's working.
Well, we had the headbutt counter last year with Mensah Sulevic.
We did. I think he broke it in the end. We could be on
45.
for a 10-darter here. K.Anderson was on a 10-darter in the very first leg. Peter Jacques has responded in kind.
100.
And that's a maximum. That doesn't even get him to a finish.
36.
Just
So
keep
we're
it.
Eanes for a 4-3 lead. He's already at double 9 in this game. But he'll bust this. Or he leads double 4. Had choices. They're both in the same corner, so
94.
Well, K.Anderson has kept up his record of hitting a 180 against the throw in every single leg, but Peter Jacques is keeping up his record of winning most of them. Double 2. Ooh, now then. Leaves himself in the madhouse, and K.Anderson, well, he was 300 odd points back at one stage. Needs the treble 18. Doesn't get it. Jacques will come back looking at double 1, but there's a lot of pressure on it. The Yorkshireman to go back into the lead at 4-3.
Game shot on the
And
seventh.
there it is. And
Peter
Peter Jacques just
Thank you.
kind of making his point
Eight-legged
there.
Kyle
There's somebody
throw first.
whistling in the crowd. It is an issue that we have perhaps on these Euro tours more than anywhere else in World Dart. Crowd usually impeccably behaved in terms of a lot of the action over the course of the day, but that's 5 180s now for K.Anderson.
get the feeling security are going to find the person or the perpetrator of the whistling, because they haven't stopped. And fair play to Peter Jacques for really stumping up and hitting that double one, because under those circumstances it wasn't easy.
Yeah, crucial moment in the game as well.
60.
Well, you see, 11 data to start with Kyle Anderson, everything else in 5 or 6 visits to the board. This is the sort of game that
100.
they just both seem to be flowing.
I know Kyle Anderson can scrap in this kind of match. I remember a few weeks ago he was playing Christian Kiss, last game of the day, and it was a real battle. Went to 6-5 and Kyle nicked it at the end, but he put in some fantastic stuff around this point in the match.
Well, this forces Anderson to go for the 170. Another one of those and it's bullseye. Doesn't quite get it. Purse of the lips from Kyle Anderson. He fancied it. But Peter Jacques, the 180 to leave 161. What a back-to-back set of visits this would be. Oh, my word. Oh.
137.
Not bad.
70.
Now, this has got to go. Another 15. Tops. It's a must.
50.
And it's not there. And Kyle Anderson put under serious pressure by Peter Jacques. And there it is, Peter Jacques, 5-3 up. This has been one heck of a comeback from the Yorkshireman. 5 out of the last 6 legs have been won by Peter Jacques against a man in Kyle Anderson who has been throwing 180s for fun in that time. He's hit 4 of them.
100.
Look at this, he's averaging 101, Kyle Anderson, and over the last 6 legs, Peter Jacques has been the one bullying him off the board.
Sometimes you look at Peter Jacques when he's practicing and when he's in a match situation, he just doesn't look like he's going to miss. He's got a rhythm and an action that is crazy repetitive.
21.
He doesn't sometimes get lazy with the dart and just throw it. Everything's the same, and you have to admire that.
140.
I cannot fault Kyle Anderson's performance, not really. But Peter Jacques has just been doing the right thing at the right time, right the way through this match. And having seen his opponent be on a 10 dart in the first leg, then take out 116 when he was on a finish in the second,
60.
we thought, well, Kyle Anderson, this is Kyle Anderson on fire. This is going to be very difficult for Peter Jacques to work his way back into the game. But he's been absolutely flawless since then.
He's got the game in his hands.
60.
Even with a steady 60 there, he's got the opportunity to kill this match off with a Shanghai 20.
Oh, another one. Oh, not quite. Kyle Anderson unable to produce a maximum against the Jacques throw in this leg. And it may be the last visit he has. Because that is a 6-3 win for Peter Jacques. The Yorkshireman through to the second round of a European Tour event for the second time in his career. And an absolutely stunning display from Jacques. He is through and will take on a winner on the Euro Tour this year, 4-time winner on the Euro Tour in his career, Michael Smith, who is in some really, really good form right now. But I tell you what, he could have his hands full with Peter Jacques if he plays like that, because Kyle Anderson, despite averaging round about that 100 mark, just was not good enough on the night to stop Jacques. The Yorkshireman is through to round 2. We're going to see Kim Viljanen, a man who was a surprise quarter-finalist last time out on the Euro Tour, the Finn. He's in action against another former Euro Tour winner in Mervyn King. But Peter Jacques, take a bow. We'll grab a quick few words with him after a stunning 6-3 victory over Kyle Anderson.
Just the case hanging in there, and hopefully they'd come, so, and they did. So these my Yorkshire boys over there.
Is it because of the experience to be on stage as well?
Yeah, it's got help, and to get used to all this. I mean, look at this. Got a great audience. You get used to it, and hopefully it carries on now.
Tomorrow the arena will be packed, 3,000 people, and Michael Smith is your opponent. He played the final last week, so he's good again.
Yeah, the pressure's on Michael there, then, isn't it? I can just relax and enjoy it.
That's cool. Thank you very much, Peter. Peter Jacques, er freut sich Morgen